Hi, everybody. My name is Mr. Dupa. That right there is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yay.
And Drunk Dave Romero.
I'm handsome.
Today's brew is the Cigar City Alai Indian Pale Ale. It looks delicious. We're going to have a good time tonight. This is the One Beer In Podcast.
Whee!
Opa.
All right. Well, this is the One Beer In Podcast. This is delicious.
Yes.
Apparently, we've all had this before.
5 out of 6.
5. Okay. 5.
5 out of 6. Yes.
Adam?
It gets a 5 out of 6 for me. It is the quintessential IPA.
I feel that far. It's good. It's not perfect.
That's what I'm saying. It's a 5 out of 6, but I say it is the taste of an IPA.
I don't know. When you say quintessential, I think that's a 6 out of 6.
Okay. I could see that.
I'm gonna go with 4 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never been a huge fan of IPAs.
You're always the dark horse, Marco.
Yeah.
Every single time.
That's racist.
That's not racist.
That's
You're
racist.
even dark.
I'm dark enough.
We're darker than you.
It's true.
That's true. You are. But you ain't got black in you like me.
You're the light brown horse.
The brown dragon.
Brown dragon.
All right, that's enough.
Anyway, this is a good go-to IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good go-to IPA. Good.
I think if you're in the beer aisle, craft beer aisle, whatever, and you're not sure what to get, and just want to go with something safe, Cigar City Alai.
There you go. But yeah, so 4 out of 5, 5.5 out of 5 for Drunk Dave, and
5 out of 6 for me.
5 out of 6.
Out of 6.
What was
I
that?
said 5.5 out of 5 for me.
Oh, sorry, I
I
did.
said 4.5 out of 5.
Our scale's flawed.
Okay, 4 out of 6, 5.5 out of 6, 5 out of 6.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tonight's episode is episode 8. Moving right along, we're just going to jump right in because we've got Cigar City.
Right. One of my favorite breweries, actually.
I don't know.
You're not very familiar?
No, not too. I mean, I've had them before, obviously, and I didn't know I had this before. But tasting it, I guess, kind of jogged my taste bud memory.
So, Cigar City is one of my favorite breweries, and for people that don't know, it's located in Tampa, so it's sort of local-ish.
Local enough.
Local enough, right? But apparently, within Florida, there's a new law that they're trying to get passed that directly impacts every brewery within Florida. Especially the sort of smaller, non-big chain kind of
Microbrews?
Yeah, the microbreweries and just basically the very craft breweries that aren't Budweiser and et cetera, et cetera. So basically, what it says, without getting dragged down into numbers and stuff, is that if brewers sell more than 2,000 kegs a year, they can't sell cans or bottles directly from their brewery anymore. So that might not seem like a huge deal, but apparently they make a lot of their money just by distributing internally. So they don't have to go through a distributor. Because what would have to happen is basically they would have to get a distributor to get their beer and resell it to them in order to sell it at their brewery.
Or they could just open up a bar across the street from their brewery and just bring it over.
Yeah, but they can't own that bar.
Why? What's the purpose of this?
Basically to help fund the bigger breweries and knock out the little guy. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to undercut all of the smaller breweries.
Oh, because the city makes money off of the bigger ones, right?
Yes.
But the bigger ones have their own distributors.
Mm-hmm.
Distributors,
yes. Emphasis. But yeah, so that's the main point. They're trying to make it seem like a good thing, though, by saying that they are allowing the apparently the really big jug of beer that you're able to get on draft.
The growler?
The growler, yes, the growler. They're trying to say that you're not supposed to be able to get that now, but you'll be able to once they pass that legislation. I don't see that as being
Right,
worth the benefit.
What are you talking about? I can go into Orlando Brewing right now and get a growler. I could go into Lazy Moon Pizza and get a growler.
Yeah, but like buy one and take it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're legally supposed to be able to do that from the brewery.
Oh yeah, well Orlando Brewing, I know you can do that, but Lazy Moon, I think you obviously got to drink it there, like it's a pitcher. But yeah, you can fill it up and take it home.
Well, apparently you're not supposed to, so we may get Orlando Brewing in trouble with this. But apparently this has to do directly with Cigar City because recently it's gone even further within getting passed, and Joey Redner, the founder of Cigar City, is thinking about relocating if the bill passes or is threatened to be passed again. Because apparently he's estimating that he would lose around $300,000 a year if this thing passes. Yeah. So, I mean, like, it makes sense why even deal with it when he can end up moving to another southern state and not have to worry about it at all.
Does Budweiser have lobbyists?
Of course,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and they're going in there and they're. I mean, it just that seems so messed up.
So we can
need to write our senators.
That's exactly what people are doing.
Governors.
That's what people are doing because it's getting further and further along and nothing's happening. Like, it's probably gonna pass, and if it does, it may ruin every single craft brewery that we know and love locally.
Well, what's going to happen is it's the bystander effect. You know, people are going to say, "Well, I'm not going to call because somebody's calling. Somebody's definitely going to call their senator. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to, bombard the senators. People are calling, and everyone's going to think that, and no one's going to call,
right?
And try to make a difference, except for the people who it directly affects. Obviously, the people who own the breweries and things like that. But,
right. Well, I mean, on top of that, it's one of those things too that other than Orlando Brewing, we're not really that close to another brewery per se. It's like super close. But the thing is, we will notice that they're ruined by the fact that we don't see their beer anymore in the stores.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't make such a big deal if we're like, okay, well, we don't go to the brewery itself very often.
Right.
That's fine. But if they end up getting closed down because they lose $300,000 of revenue every year, we're not going to see that beer anymore. So we're going to have to look outside of the state to get anything good to enjoy on this show.
Right.
Jesus.
So I guess what we're going into is sort of like a political kind of message.
Yes, this is the
folks,
PSA.
If you love your beer, your craft beer, like we do, write your senators, write your governors, whomever.
I mean,
well, we got to find out who to write. I'll find out who to write.
We actually should write. I mean, if we're going to be doing this, we actually should write.
Yeah. We should.
We'll make a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's write this on behalf of the One Beer In podcast. Get it.
I'll find out who we have to write to,
and we'll fucking write to them.
Right, and we'll just make the template, and everybody else just copy pastas that.
We could do that. We could put it on the Facebook and the WordPress, and just have people just go here, do this, that, and the third. Takes no time.
We're doing it.
Starting the movement.
There you go.
It's official.
There it is.
Yeah, it's probably Rick Scott's scary looking ass.
That dude's a creep. At least he's creepy looking, man. I saw him doing an interview on TV. He was just lurking in the corner.
It's like Nosferatu.
But yeah, that's a scary thought to go into a liquor store and only see fucking Budweiser and oh man, what a nightmare.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this and not thinking, well, I like Bud Light and Budweiser, what's the big deal? Then you don't. You haven't tried.
Yeah. You need to live more.
Come see me.
Drunk Dave will be your tour guide. He'll help you out.
He'll be your sensei. Yeah,
Sifu.
Sifu.
Your Sifu.
But yeah, we all encourage you to get behind that movement because I know we all enjoy our Florida craft beers and want to see them prosper.
And we talked about this before, but we only touched on it lightly because I didn't think it was going to go away, but it was a little while ago. It was a couple months ago, the first time it was brought up, because they're starting to do a lot downtown. Like I think they're open a little later, and
Orlando City Soccer is coming around,
right?
And everywhere you go, I don't know if you've seen on the menus, but even on Friday in TGI Fridays, their beer menu is like, well, domestic beers, and then it's like craft beers, a little list in the corner. So everybody is definitely noticing that craft beers are getting larger. It's becoming more popular, and everybody's trying to get their hands in the pot.
Right. So that just has that could be another thing of what they're trying to do is get their hands in the cookie jar.
You're right there, buddy. You getting choked up?
So much emotion.
I might cry about
Marco,
this.
it's okay. There's still time. We got this.
Yeah, we do need to check the deadlines and everything.
Yeah, so we'll do a little bit of homework, but stay tuned. We may have a document out for you guys to kind of forward to your favorite senator.
Yes, so keep it locked on the Facebook page and whatever else we tell you to go to. Go to it. But since we can't do anything about it right now, moving on.
Let's enjoy these Cigar City beers while we can.
What these guys could use is a Kickstarter.
Ooh.
How you like that?
Uh-huh.
Speaking of, I was reading Time magazine because I do that, and there was an article in there about I think it was James Franco. He needed a.
You're so cultured.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. James Franco, the actor, he started a Kickstarter campaign for his movie Palo Alto, which is coming out pretty soon. It's about he's a pervy soccer coach.
I think I heard about that through the apparent Twitter thing that happened with him.
We can talk about that because you look like you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so basically he wrote a story, and then he got Sofia Coppola's daughter, Gia Coppola, to direct it. And it's about he's a soccer coach, and he preys on. I guess I couldn't say that. He falls in love with one of the chicks on his soccer team, but she's underage. Obviously, it's one of those stories about the teacher-student relationship. He plays the teacher, and then Emma Roberts, I think, plays the student. So
it's a lot of high fives.
Yeah, right. So on his Instagram, he started hitting on an underage girl
to promote it.
Yeah. That's what people are saying. Is it was a very meta way of promoting his movie.
Very Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, to actually do it. Some people are like, "That's disgusting," and some people are like, "I get it," but he hasn't really said what he was actually doing. I mean, I really think that he was it was promoting the movie.
He's just no, I was.
Well, I mean,
I was trying to hit that.
It was kind of weird that he just did it out of nowhere, but he probably was trying to promote the movie.
It did its job. That's how I heard about it first. So
I heard about it. I keep up with James Franco. I got a man crush. What can I say?
Him and I, we go way back.
But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. Bringing it back to him wanting to start a Kickstarter campaign for his movie, I don't know. I just felt a little. I felt it. I don't know. It was something that irked me about that. And in the article, they had other big name artists and movie makers who had started not necessarily Kickstarter campaigns, but things like Kickstarter. There's the Indigo websites and stuff like that. They all do the same thing. It's crowdfunding basically. Right. And seeing the people on the list bothered me. Spike Lee was on the list. James Franco, obviously. Zach Braff. Melissa Joan Hart from Teenage Witch or whatever.
Sabrina?
Yeah. Sabrina. Yeah. And all of it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I just looked up net worths.
For those
James
people?
Franco is worth $20 million.
$20 million.
Spike Lee is worth $40 million. There's really no reason.
There is no reason
for them to be starting a Kickstarter for an indie project.
I want somebody, Adam, to play devil's advocate and try to see it from their perspective. Why they would ask people to, because when someone starts a Kickstarter campaign, like Oculus Rift, for instance, they start that. They asked for people to fund it because it was an indie company at first. This is before the purchases and before the guy from id Entertainment, before he jumped on. It was just that guy, the guy who created it.
Guy with the idea.
Right. Then he asked people to fund it, and then he says, look, if you fund this, you get first dibs on everything. You're there for the entire process. That's one thing.
Right.
If I'm going to give you money for your movie, then I deserve say-so, right? Doesn't that make me a producer? Does it not? I mean, the studio that funds your movie, they get say-so over your movie. They're not going to let you put it in the theater without what they feel about it, right?
Yeah, I get
not to say. I mean, I'm just saying in a broad sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to give 100,000 people say-so over the movie,
right.
but
Let's
they're
take a
also
poll.
asking for. But they're also asking for people's money. So, what do you get out of it?
Do you want me to be the devil's advocate?
I do.
For this?
I do.
Okay. So first of all, it takes millions upon millions to get really anything created, right? movies, video games, even albums nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about an indie project.
It's still millions of dollars. It's still millions of dollars.
Well,
I don't know.
Talk about Desperado.
Right. I mean, things can get made on a budget.
Let's talk about that, though. There hasn't been a movie that has been that successful, that has spawned that type of career in years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert Rodriguez did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did it, and he didn't have a name. We're talking about James Franco. He's an A-list superstar.
Right. But the type of movies that they're trying to fund are generally these at least multi-million-dollar films.
I don't see why an indie film would need that much money.
Right. Like, okay.
Unless it's got, like, CG special effects, other celebrities.
Right. Spike Lee's movie is supposed to be like a psychological thriller. So I can see him needing a bigger budget. He's going for something with this. But like James Franco's movie, for instance, is like one of these indie art house, romantic kind of, well, not romantic, but you know what I'm saying?
In a creepy way.
Right. One of these like
on
weird...
a scale of 1 to 10, how extraordinary, how fantastic is this movie going to be?
Exactly. It's not going to be anything. It's going to be him and Emma Roberts. I mean, half the money is going to paying these people who are in the movie.
Pandora on the 10 with visual effects and all this high production, or is it going to be Juno?
It's going to be
Michael Cera.
It's going to be Juno.
It's going to have to be, because something like Avatar is like $500 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way that would get crowdsourced, So
of course,
generally these types of projects for Kickstarter programs and stuff are very niche films, right? Because they're things that they say that production companies are not interested in making.
Right,
Hollywood is not interested in making these types of films.
Of course, right.
But they want to make as good of a film as they possibly can, and they don't want to sort of, I guess, produce the film on their own. They feel like there's an audience there already for it that would like to see this type of film that isn't being created by the Hollywood machine, using air quotes.
Yeah.
And that's how they want it to be created, is if the people want this type of content, then...
All right, well, here's my thing. Zach Braff, for instance, he got into it. There was a little bit of a controversy with his film because he had Garden State, which was a really good movie.
Right.
And he funded that movie on his own budget before he had Scrubs, or maybe it was before and during.
Yeah, I think
he was getting a little bit of money, but it wasn't. The show wasn't over. He didn't have like the net worth that he has now, which probably isn't that much, but it's enough to fund his own movie. So now, after Scrubs is done, he comes back and he's like, now I want crowdfunding for my next movie. And it's like, before you were hot shit, you afforded to make a good movie already.
Right.
So why should we pay you now for what is, a spiritual sequel to it?
And they're still showing Scrubs. He's getting
residuals from that.
Right.
Probably not a lot, but enough.
Right.
Probably not even enough. But he's probably got... I'm not gonna sit here and guess what kind of money he's got. What I'm saying is,
you don't have to guess. I'll Google it.
There you go.
That's what the internet's
While
for.
he does that, the audacity of somebody who is potentially making millions of dollars to ask the fan to give them money, and then, I mean, like I was saying with Oculus Rift, you get perks with that. So what kind of... Am I getting a special screening?
Well, a lot of times, for instance, one of the most, I guess, most known of these types of projects is the Veronica Mars one, right? So fans were knocking down doors to make this project happen.
Oh yeah, on the list, she was the top. She she grossed like $15 million or something like that, something crazy.
Yeah.
Like an insane amount of money to ask of other like people around the world.
Fans.
They were just like, fuck it.
Just fans.
I watched a couple episodes of Veronica Mars. This is going off, but it's not that good.
I never gave it a chance, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
I mean, people love it though.
I know. I saw the fanfare over it, and that's what made me want to watch a couple episodes.
Yeah, there's a big fan base.
Forbes says Zach Braff is worth $22 million.
$22 million, and all he's done is one TV show, man.
Popular TV show.
Yeah, it was a great show. Scrubs is awesome.
And an indie movie.
Exactly, on his own dime. $22 million off of a TV show, and he can't afford to film the next movie.
But what I want to know is what do you get for backing these on Kickstarter?
Right, that's what
so
we're saying.
I was going to ask you to look it up. Like, what did you get? Do you get to see this movie for free, or do you
that's where I was getting to. That's where I was getting to
and
with
in
the.
that case, what's the point of even kickstarting it then if you're going to give these away for free, like free tickets to movies that you're asking to kickstart?
Right. There's always levels of backing. So usually, sort of beginner level is maybe $5 to $10. Right. You're just saying, I want to make this happen.
Right.
You get nothing with that generally.
It's you going, oh, this is a cool idea.
Right.
I'll support it.
I'll support it. It's like you're just giving your money to them basically as support.
Much, yeah.
So then there's a level above that generally. That's like $15 to $30, say, and that generally gets you maybe a movie ticket when it comes out, and
that just defeats the purpose because you're going to tell me like $15 isn't the price of a movie ticket.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like 15.
Well, I mean, you're paying $15 to help get it made.
Right. It's like an advance for your money.
That just nullifies.
You're kind of pre-ordering the movie.
Nullifies that transaction by going, help us make it. We'll give you the ticket for free. And you're not making money off the project you want to make.
They're not solely getting funded by these people though. They have money of their own. They just need more money at the moment to make it happen. That's the whole point of Kickstarter.
Well, that was the other thing that kind of bothered me was like they have the money to fund these films. They're getting money on top, so they don't have to worry about.
Well, it's for advertising.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have to worry about that extra cost that they're going to have to worry about inevitably when the movie comes out.
Right. So, for instance, going back to the Veronica Mars thing, was that it was set up in that way of having tiers, right? Tiers of funding.
Right.
So I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I know at a certain level, you got to download the movie in whatever format you wanted to. So it could have been, on iTunes or, whatever else is like the non-Apple type of downloading.
What a hipster thing to say.
The
non-Apple.
There's Apple and then there's non-Apple.
That's it, right?
That's it. Those are the only two categories.
Linux.
I heard when that movie came out that there was a couple of sources that it wasn't allowing them to download it.
And that's what I was getting to.
Get to it.
Was that people were getting upset because apparently they were limited in the format that they were able to share it with.
Right.
So they had within the contract basically that they have with the people that are funding this movie, because every Kickstarter has a basic plan of by you putting money into this, you are granted these things, but you're not granted any of this other stuff, right? That's understood. As in, you're not buying stake into this movie because you're not going to make money off of it, right? That's written into the contract that you sign up for as a Kickstarter.
Right.
So people were upset by that because they couldn't technically download it in whatever format they wanted to. But to make it okay, the guy that was behind the project basically said that they would work out any way that they could to make it happen for the fans, basically. So I think that crisis was averted. I haven't really stuck with it, but I haven't heard anything about it since that. Yeah. So,
I mean, the entire culture behind crowdfunding is just a strange thing to me. I still can't really wrap my head around somebody like Spike Lee asking me to fund his movie.
Marco,
please help.
Well, I'm sure Spike's argument with that would be that the type of movie that he wants to make would not get funded by Hollywood producers. So if you want to see a real Spike Lee joint, you're gonna have to help him make that happen. That's basically it.
Ugh.
I mean, he can still keep making the movies that he's been making, but in order to make a film that is true to what he wants to say, he's going to need help from his fans that want that type of material.
Yeah. But then there's the thing where it's like, I've seen some of them with like this defiance, like if you want to see this, then you need to fund it. And it's like, no. That's not how this works, okay? You're the one who's already on that level. You've got studio backing, you've got actors, you've got your own millions of dollars, you've got your own production company. I'm going to pay you money to see a movie. Like, I'm already giving you that $15. Like, movie tickets are already expensive enough. Right. Plus, when it comes out, I mean, do I get, like with the Veronica Mars, the movie comes out, what if I want the physical copy of it? Do I get my own physical copy for free, depending on how much I put in?
It depends on the tier, because some people were sent DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever, depending on how much they put in.
But at the same time, it's like, that's not really, what does that do for me? You know, if the movie gets made, like, okay, let's say I was a fan of Veronica Mars and I didn't give a shit about the Kickstarter thing, right? The movie's already out. I could spend $15 and buy the DVD right now and not had to have given them the money for the Kickstarter.
Right.
So, like, you know, as a casual person, like, why should I even give a shit? You know? You
shouldn't.
I mean, how many? What I'm saying is, how many of these Kickstarter campaigns from big name people are on the cutting room floor right now, and how many of them got made regardless of what we gave them? You know.
I mean, there are tons of failed Kickstarters. But
there's probably hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, somebody on the level of James Franco or Spike Lee, how many of those failed? I doubt.
Not as many.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
I doubt there's very many that failed.
Yeah.
I doubt it, because even if they don't reach their goal,
they've got friends.
Right. You think a guy like Zach Braff or James Franco is gonna give up because they don't meet their goal on Kickstarter? They want to make their movie. You know, we're just giving them We're just giving them the extra money. It's just, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to justify something like that.
Okay, in order to get an advanced screening of the movie, do you know how much you would have to pay for Zach Braff's "Wish I Was Here"?
Okay.
This is what I've been looking up. This is why I've been so quiet this whole time.
Right. Okay.
You have to pay $100.
$100 to get an advanced screening.
Yeah, and then you get access to the Q&A in whatever city you're in. Not whatever city, the closest city to you. That they're going to. So you have to pay $100, and then you get an advanced screening, and then you get a Q&A session, obviously not one-on-one, just with everybody else that paid $100, which, by the way, everything was gone. They funded over 100%. If they needed $2 million, they got $3,200,000-something. So that's what you get for $100. $40 was a t-shirt. $15 was a production diary.
A $40 t-shirt?
Yeah.
Suck.
$15 was a production diary, and that's what you're getting for backing this movie.
That's fucking madness.
You don't get to see it. You don't get a ticket. You get a T-shirt.
We get advanced screenings for free all the time.
I think like the $30 one was like you get a framed like art print of some crap or whatever.
So it's usually like a signed piece of memorabilia or something. Things like that.
You're getting garbage for way more than what's worth.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Zach Braff, if you're listening,
you fucking crazy.
You're fucking out of your mind. I would never do that.
I mean, it's basically the same deal with video games too, because Keiji Inafune, the guy that made
that's completely different though, because he's making this game like on his own like time.
Let me explain it. Okay, let me explain. The people haven't heard anything yet.
No, everybody knows who he is.
Keiji Inafune.
Household name.
Yes, Keiji Inafune is the creator of Mega Man, the Mega Man series.
Only creators, only the artists.
I think he was the creator. I'm pretty sure he's the creator. Anyway, so regardless, he
fact check that.
He left Capcom, right? He went solo because they wouldn't make any more Mega Man games.
Bitches.
Yeah. So he's basically like, well,
it's not like you've beaten any.
I beat one.
That one time.
No, I haven't beat it.
They're really hard games. They're very.
Doesn't matter. I enjoyed them.
Right.
I love Mega Man.
As a fan of Mega Man games, basically. So he left Capcom because they wouldn't make any more Mega Man games, and that's what he wanted to make, right? That's his heart and soul. So he decided to leave and basically make another Mega Man game. Clearly, it's not going to be called Mega Man. It's going to be Mighty Number 9.
Mm-hmm. But if you see the design and everything, it's Mega Man.
Yep. Yeah. His Kickstarter for that game goes everywhere from $5 to $10,000.
Yeah.
That's how much you can fund. And at the $10,000 limit, you get dinner with him.
I mean, if you're in the industry, I guess that's nice. You know, if somebody was like,
how does that?
Fuck that. Nah, still, I don't want to have dinner with no. Fuck that.
$10,000 dinner.
$10,000. That's.
Do you still have to pay for the dinner?
No, you don't pay for the dinner.
You just have to tip.
Hey, you never know, man.
No.
And then what? I mean, is he gonna fly down here? Like, if I paid $10,000, is he gonna fly down to Orlando, Florida, and take me out somewhere, or is he gonna fly me to California or Japan or wherever he's at?
Probably. I would think that would be like an all expense paid type thing.
No, because I already paid the expenses.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's all expenses after you pay
$10,000. Yeah.
I mean, like that's a campaign that I would get behind though, because I'm a fan of Mega Man, and I would like to see, even if the game is not called Mega Man, I'd like to see a game similar to that made.
And mind you, he's bringing a lot of the Mega Man team with him too to do this, so it's not just him.
So like that's different. Like if I get if I get a demo before anybody else, or if I get a copy of the game before anybody else,
all of that's in there. Like all of those little niceties that you would expect as a backer are within that sort of the pay levels.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's what you're looking for, honestly. Like all the stuff that you've been complaining about as far as Kickstarter, that is kind of doing it. I mean, at the same time, you're not getting a piece of that money if they make profit, which they will.
It makes sense that I wouldn't get, and I that's unreasonable to ask for. What I'm saying is, the kind of money that I put in, I want equal back from the people. Like, I don't want to just put money in and then they go like Dave was saying, $100 for a pre-screening is bullshit. It's bullshit
for Zach Braff.
Yeah, for his movie, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
If like $100 should get me more than just I get to see the movie before anybody else.
Well, think about the type of fan that would dedicate $100 to that. They're obviously into. Oh well, yeah, maybe.
They're
honestly into Zach Braff.
Right.
They'll treasure that more than anybody else, and they will pay that $100 just to see him in person. Take a picture of him or whatever. And see the movie before everybody else. That's
well, I mean,
a big thing for them.
That's kind of just preying on people's fandom of him.
Maybe, yeah, but I mean, it's
kind of taking advantage of people, but at the same time,
if it's giving them the product that they want too,
right?
Though, at the same token, I mean,
I just feel like at the end of the day, Kickstarter to me doesn't really make a lot of sense right now.
It depends on the project.
I guess, yeah, all right.
Because like with this Mighty Number 9, you pay $20, you get a copy of the game.
See, that makes sense. $20, I help you make it. And then you give me a copy of the game.
Obviously, there's not going to be a hard copy of it, right? Made, period.
Right.
But still, like, it doesn't cost anything to download that. I mean, it costs server and access and whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're not getting an actual physical disc or a thumb drive or anything like that. So there's nothing. There's no manufacturing in it.
Right. There's not a physical thing.
So that
have
cost
to do.
is out. So it's like you're saying, all right, I will give you this in advance to get the game back.
Right.
And it's probably going to be $20.
Well, if they sell the game for $15 though. What's the difference between that and the Veronica Mars thing of them giving you a digital copy? It's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Depends on how much you put in for that Veronica Mars thing, though.
Right. That's the difference. I'm not going to pay $100 to get a game, to get a copy of a game. Like Zach Braff is saying, you can watch my movie for $100.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, okay, if he was saying, give me $100 and you get a pre-screening and you get a copy of the movie when it comes out officially, and we'll give you a T-shirt and the Q&A, that makes more sense. $100 makes more sense then.
Right.
For $100 just for the Q&A, I mean, you could spend, you could get the pre-screening for free when he puts it in theaters, depending on the studio, and then you could go to the Q&A for $50.
Right. I think that a lot of these projects get around that by sort of stacking the benefits. So I'm not sure if that's how it works with the Zach Braff project, but a lot of times they'll do $100 for this Q&A. That's the top thing that you get for that. Nobody else gets that except for somebody that gives maybe $200, $300. Like it stacks. And so you also get a copy of the digital release.
But that's how Mighty Number 9 was working.
Exactly.
Where, okay, it's pledge $5. You get a Mighty Number. You get an exclusive Mighty Number. So I guess it's just like a serial number or whatever. You get forum access. The next level, you get a copy of it. The next level, you get a retro game manual, digital art book, a copy of it, and the official soundtrack. The next level, you get all that crap, and then you get a digital reward set, digital copy, digital retro style game, a manual, digital art book. You get more and more as you're doing. So it's
have they reached their goal on that?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Far surpassed.
Far surpassed. $900,000. They got $3.8 million. So yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah, and the sequel's set already.
Yeah, seriously.
Awesome.
It'll probably like with that money, they'll most likely be able to put it on major consoles now.
Of course,
that's basically it. Because they were looking at like a PC release basically with that $900,000 because they wouldn't have to deal with the
porting it and stuff.
Porting it, and you have to fund all of that going through.
You need the license from Xbox and PlayStation and Wii and Nintendo
to put it onto
their console.
Right.
So I guess that I don't know how much that costs, but I'm assuming it's a lot of money. money.
Yeah, no, it has to be a lot of money. So they far succeeded in that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they just stomped their goal in the face.
Right. So when stuff like that happens, that makes me happy that Kickstarter exists. But I see people getting taken advantage of, especially in the ones that fail, and people put money into it, and it's like nothing happens.
Right. I mean, you see the advantage of Kickstarter, but then like we're going back to the Oculus Rift where they got their Kickstarter, they met their goal, and then all of a sudden Facebook goes,
yoink!
I'm throwing $2 billion into the pot.
Yep.
It was like, wait, we already closed it, and then they were like, no, we opened it because that's $2 billion. We'll take that. You can put that in there.
Yeah.
And so it's. I mean, they were saying I was reading
at $2 billion, they could refund everybody and be like, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was in that same article in Time Magazine. It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about that. It was a whole article about Oculus Rift, and they were saying like now that Facebook has jumped in, we can focus on exactly what we want to focus on. Like before, we were looking at, okay, how can we do this and still make money?
Right.
But now, if Zuckerberg throws $2 billion at him, and they're like, okay, we don't have to worry about making money anymore. We can just worry about making the best product possible.
Right.
So in that instance, like when you far exceed your goal, like number 9 did, you can worry about just making the best product possible. So I guess in that instance, I can definitely see like that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's sort of the best outcome.
But still, like that issue with that is, all right, what about the backers? Like how
the people who
we talked about this before.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you threw money at someone and then someone goes, "Here's your goal times 1,000."
Right. And then you're looking around like, well, what do I get? And you're like,
does my money count for nothing?
I mean,
is there a $2 billion tier?
They were saying
you get to own Oculus Rift, not just an Oculus Rift, the company.
That's funny. I mean, they said they were still going to send people, the people who backed it. They were going to honor the tiers regardless of how much money they made.
They better.
Well, yeah. I mean,
true.
Unless they want a full-blown riot.
Yeah, I mean, that's how do you think they got there?
Yeah. Facebook wouldn't have bought them if it wasn't for the backers, like we talked about before.
Ultimately, Kickstarters, I don't know if I believe in them. I don't know if I would put money into them.
No, they exist.
They are real, Marco.
I don't know if I believe in participating in them. I don't know. I guess it depends on the product. Like you said, it depends on the product. It depends on what I'm being asked to kickstart. It depends on
like
that.
the One Beer In podcast.
Exactly, as I make our One Beer In podcast Kickstarter.
If you want to donate to our Kickstarter, we could use a lot of stuff.
Of your money.
More beer. You will fund the beers that we review.
Yeah, maybe some mics too.
Also microphones, mixers.
Yeah, all that.
That other bull
stuff.
But it's mostly about the beer. Anyway, I think that's it for us tonight. My name is Mr. Dupa. Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
And I'm handsome.
And that other guy, that ugly son of a bitch, is Drunk Dave Romero. You can find us on YouTube. Beer In. One Beer In. Just Google One Beer In at this point. Facebook, YouTube.
Like and subscribe, please.
Yes, like and subscribe. Listen. Tell your friends. You can find me at Dupa Get Butt on Instagram.
Stop telling me what to do.
No, listen to what you need to do.
You must find me at Obesius on everything.
At Marco Dupa.
I'm at Facta Non Verba.
Yes.
It's Latin.
That's it. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.